A few months ago, I made this video talking about all the benefits of self-organization, self-management. But today, I want to talk about the dark side. The dark side of self-management. Throughout the years, I've rarely seen companies, teams, actually self-manage and self-organize correctly, the right way. They think they are doing it the right way, but they are not. First off, the concept of self-organization is central to Agile practices like Scrum and Kanban. The 11th principle of the Agile Manifesto, the best architectures, requirements, designs emerge from self-organizing teams. Self-organizing teams. Yeah, it looks pretty important to me. Typically, a self-organizing team is a team where people have more autonomy compared to the traditional way of working. This self-organized team decide what to build and how to build it instead of a boss somewhere telling them what to do. But this can cause a lot of confusion if not done correctly. You have a team with people of different skills, different knowledge, different experience, different personalities, different ways of making decisions. All of these need to collaborate together to make this work instead of someone telling them what to do. That's very different from the traditional command and control approach where you have a boss telling the team exactly what to do. And some people believe that self-organization and self-management are the same thing. There's a slight difference. In self-organization, the team decides how to build something and who builds it. In self-management, the team decides on the whole process, meaning they decide what to build, how to build it, who builds it, and by when to build it. Scrum teams previously, in the previous Scrum guides, were advised to be self-organized. Now, the word has changed to self-manage, managing the whole process. And there's a lot of benefits to that. Typically, the best person to solve a problem, to do a job, is the person actually doing the job. Not a manager somewhere outside the team telling the team what to do. And the team, when self-managed, own the whole process. They own the product, they own the problems, they own the solutions, they own everything. They have this ownership which is extremely powerful. But even with all these important benefits, many people believe that this concept doesn't work. You can't just put 10 random people in a team, tell them to self-organize and expect a good result to come out of it. And that's a key thing that many companies, especially big companies, they don't realize that when implementing Agile, when implementing Scrum, how do companies usually, typically do it? They tell you, they begin a big meeting, everyone is in the room, and they tell you, okay, as from tomorrow, we are implementing Agile and Scrum. People are now self-organized, all the teams self-organized and self-managed. Honestly, do you really believe that a team who had a manager telling them exactly what to do for months, for years, will magically transform starting tomorrow into a perfect self-organized and self-managed team? Many people believe that, many big organizations believe that. I don't believe that. I am not against self-managed teams. Far from that. If you take resourceful people, people who don't need much direction, skilled people, creative people, you put them together, a lot of beautiful things can come out of this team. However, this is extremely rare. Don't believe me? Look at teams in your organization. You'll see people with different personalities. That's good. But also people with different levels of responsibility. Some people will not be responsible at all, not be accountable at all. Some people will need direction. And believe me, these some people are most people. Honestly, most people are not ready to be self-managed. Most people still want someone to tell them exactly what to do. They don't want to change their mindset. They want people to tell them what to do. They don't really care. They don't really care about being creative. They don't really care about innovating. No. They just want to go with the flow and do the job required. And there's even more. Let's take my example. Due to my line of work, I read a lot of self-improvement books on how to be more productive, efficient, effective, more disciplined. And I believe that this YouTube channel is a proof that I'm quite responsible, disciplined. 3 videos every single week for the past 9 months. That's pretty impressive. And even after all that, I still cheat. Going to the gym, I still cheat on my diet. I still don't do what I'm supposed to do because I'm human. But I focus on being disciplined, responsible. I read about that. I put a lot of things in practice. What about the average Joe? The person who just wants to go with the flow. Most people When you take the average Joe and you put them in a self-managed team, it leads to a complete disaster. Honestly, it's hard. With all these distractions, especially now that we are working from home, it's hard to be disciplined and responsible when someone is not ensuring that you are disciplined and responsible. It's hard to do that. Most people can't do that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't assume that these people can be self-managed starting tomorrow. So how do we fix that? Well, the problem is at different levels. Before even looking at the teams, individuals in the team, let's look at management. Agile and Scrum were implemented for a reason. If you look at the Agile movement, they believe that people are oppressed under this command and control culture. They want to change that, so they implemented Agile, self-managed team, self-organized team, which is really good. But the reality is that if you don't change this culture, this mindset of people at a higher level, senior managers, directors, things will never change. Even if teams are self-managed, they won't be truly self-managed because management will always find a way to oppress people with a ton of anti-patterns if you don't change the culture of organization and you shift their mindset. Agile was implemented for a reason, to provide more value to the customer and to deliver early, get feedback, provide more value. Really? Honestly, did you believe that management, that's why they implemented Agile? I don't believe that. In most big companies, Agile was implemented simply because they were sold that Agile and Scrum would make us go faster and it would cost cheaper. You need to make sure to shift this culture, this mindset of management, making them understand that Agile is not about faster and cheaper, it's about providing value and releasing early. If they don't understand that, you're leading to a complete disaster. Now let's focus on individuals in the team. We need to go back to the why we are doing it. The intention behind self-organization and self-management. It was never about putting 10 random people in a team and believing that they can be self-managed. No, if you look at the original Scrum Guide and all the materials of Agile and Scrum 20 years back, it was always about picking the right people for the right job, starting with a cross-functional team, ensuring that the team can deliver. They have all the skills, all the knowledge, everything required to deliver what we want. Second, people with a mix of different levels of technical skills, senior developers, beginner developers. There will be a lot of boring work to do when building the application, boring features. Senior developers, if you tell them to do boring features, they will just leave the company. Don't tell them to do that. Give them interesting things to do. And the beginner developers in the team can learn from the senior developers also. The third most important, I believe most important, is motivated people, responsible people. Most companies miss that. They believe that everyone is motivated, everyone is responsible. No, far from that. If you put unmotivated, not responsible people who need direction in a team, a self-organized team, it will not go well. So please have a coach, have a Scrum Master, an Agile coach. Coach these people. If ever you have these people in your team, make them more motivated, make them more accountable, more responsible. Else, Scrum won't work. Agile won't work. And this is where I want to end this video. Maybe the term shouldn't be self-organized or self-managed teams. No. We simply need responsible people in a responsible team. If you have a responsible team, you can do wonders. So focus on that. As a Scrum Master, as an Agile coach, or anyone looking at this video, please make your team, people in the team responsible and the team responsible. Which brings me to my next point. If you want more tips, insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now. And I'll see you in a few seconds.